Do you often find yourself awake at night or feeling lost during the day, questioning if the person you're with is truly right for you? It might just be a fleeting thought that creeps in when the initial excitement fades or during those quiet moments when you're left alone with your feelings. You might try to brush it off, thinking that every relationship has its challenges, but deep down, you know there's something more significant at play. When that doubt transforms from a passing thought into a persistent concern, it's essential to explore why it's there in the first place. Love can be complicated, messy, raw, and vulnerable, but it shouldn't feel like a constant struggle against yourself. There's a clear distinction between navigating normal challenges and forcing yourself to fit into a relationship that doesn't resonate with who you are. Yet, many of us cling to relationships that feel off, not because we're genuinely happy, but out of fear of what might happen if we let go. Let's be honest for a moment, recognizing the signs that you're with the wrong person isn't easy. It takes courage to look at your relationship with honesty and ask the tough questions. But when you do, you reclaim your power. You start to prioritize your peace, your goals, and your personal growth. Today, we're going to discuss those signs, the ones we often ignore or excuse away. This video aims to provide you with clarity and confidence in understanding the truth about your relationship. Before we dive in, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on more insightful videos like this. Let's get started. You're always walking on eggshells. If you find yourself constantly worried about saying the wrong thing, it might be time to question whether it's love or fear that you're experiencing. Emotional safety is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. Without it, love can quickly turn into a survival game. You may find yourself weighing every word, second-guessing your tone, or replaying conversations in your mind to figure out where you went wrong. It's exhausting, isn't it? Consider this. Have you ever felt tense before bringing up an issue, even something as simple as how their habits affect you? Your heart races at the thought of their potential reaction. Will they get defensive, dismiss your feelings, or turn the conversation around so that you end up apologizing? This isn't love, it's self-preservation. A healthy relationship shouldn't feel like a courtroom where you have to plead your case to avoid conflict. Let's reflect on Stoicism for a moment. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Recognizing this can empower you. Emotional safety starts with understanding that while you can't control your partner's reactions, you can control your response. If their behavior consistently disrupts your peace, it's worth asking why you allow that pattern to continue. Remember, a healthy relationship is one where you can express yourself freely, without fear of judgment or ridicule. If you find yourself suppressing your voice, needs, or boundaries just to maintain peace, you're trading your emotional health for temporary stability, and that's not sustainable. What this looks like day-to-day. You might avoid asking for what you need, be it time, support, or affection, because it feels easier than dealing with their response. Perhaps you tiptoe around discussions about money, future plans, or past mistakes, knowing those topics will lead to arguments. Over time, you may internalize the belief that your feelings matter less than theirs, leading you to avoid conflict at all costs, even if it means betraying your own truth. But here's the harsh reality: this isn't love. Love doesn't require you to walk on eggshells or shrink yourself to avoid conflict. Real love creates space for difficult conversations, disagreements, and even hurt feelings, all built on trust, not fear. How to change this dynamic? Start by taking an honest look at your relationship. Journal about recurring patterns. Ask yourself, are there topics I avoid because they always lead to conflict? Do I feel heard and valued when I express my feelings, or do I feel dismissed? Am I constantly apologizing for things I shouldn't have to? Writing things down can be powerful, helping you see the bigger picture. Patterns that once felt random or insignificant will come into focus, and with clarity comes the ability to make better decisions. And next, practice open communication. This doesn't mean confronting your partner with anger or blame. It means approaching conversations with curiosity and vulnerability. Instead of saying, "You never listen to me," try, "I feel unheard sometimes, and it's important to me that we work on this together." Notice how the focus shifts from accusation to collaboration. Of course, communication is a two-way street. If your partner is willing to meet you halfway, there's hope for growth and change. But if they respond with defensiveness, gaslighting, or hostility, it's a sign that the relationship may not be as emotionally safe as it should be. Remember, your peace of mind is invaluable. Stoic philosophy teaches us to prioritize our inner world above all else. No relationship, no matter how much history or potential it holds, is worth sacrificing your emotional well-being. If you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, ask yourself, are you staying because you're truly happy, or out of fear of what might happen if you leave? The choice to address this dynamic or walk away if it doesn't improve requires courage. But here's the good news: every step you take toward protecting your peace brings you closer to the kind of relationship you truly deserve, one built on trust, respect, and the freedom to be yourself. After all, isn't that the kind of love you're worthy of? When values and goals don't align. What happens when the person you love envisions a completely different future than you do? It's a tough question. Love can feel intoxicating, tricking us into believing it can fix anything. But no amount of love can rewrite someone's life script. If your values and goals are pointing in opposite directions, it's like trying to build a house on two separate blueprints. It just won't work. Consider this in real life. Maybe you've always dreamed of traveling the world, while your partner wants to settle down in the suburbs. Or perhaps you're driven in your career, while they see work as a means to an end. These aren't just surface-level preferences, they're core pieces of who you are. Compromising on small things is one thing, but when it comes to the bigger picture, compromise can feel like a sacrifice. Ignoring these mismatches doesn't make them go away. They fester over time, leading to resentment, not because you don't love each other, but because you feel torn between who you are and who they want you to be. The journey of relationships. Think of relationships as a journey. You're both boarding the same train, but if your destinations are completely different, what happens? One of two things: either one of you abandons your dream for the sake of the other, or you both continue, but one of you always feels lost, traveling away from the life you wanted. In both scenarios, there's no winning. This isn't to say that couples need to be carbon copies of each other. You can have different interests and personalities and still make it work. But when it comes to core values, family, career, lifestyle, and future vision, you need to be aligned. Otherwise, you'll constantly pull in opposite directions, wearing yourselves down in the process. Have you had a conversation with your partner about your long-term goals? Not vague ideas like wanting to be happy or successful, but specific, concrete aspirations? Do you see yourselves in the same type of relationship? Do you both want kids, or is one of you unsure? These aren't easy questions, but avoiding them doesn't make the answers any less important. Marcus Aurelius reminds us to ask ourselves at every moment, is this necessary? In relationships, the necessary question is about alignment. Are you and your partner truly moving in the same direction, or are you staying together simply because it feels easier than having the hard conversations? Alignment doesn't mean perfection. Even the most compatible couples have disagreements. But it does mean that, at the core, your values aren't in conflict. It means you both share an understanding of what matters most and a willingness to build that future together. How to determine alignment. To figure out if you're aligned, start having honest conversations early and often. Don't wait until you're years into the relationship, with one of you envisioning a wedding while the other dreams of a solo backpacking trip. Discuss the big stuff directly but compassionately. For example, ask, what do you see your life looking like in 5 or 10 years, or how do you feel about starting a family someday? Compromise is part of any relationship, but it has its limits. There's a difference between meeting someone halfway and sacrificing pieces of yourself just to keep the peace. The former strengthens your bond, the latter erodes your sense of self. So, ask yourself, are you and your partner truly building a shared vision for the future, or are you trying to force your paths to merge when they're naturally diverging? The answer might not come easily, but clarity is always worth the discomfort. If you realize your goals don't align, it doesn't mean you've failed, it means you're learning to prioritize your happiness and growth, which is the bravest thing you can do. At the end of the day, love is about partnership, building something together, brick by brick, with shared intentions and mutual respect. If your values and goals align, the journey will feel steady, even when it's challenging. But if you're constantly pulling in opposite directions, the journey will leave you both feeling lost, and you deserve so much more than that. The one-sided relationship ***. Love isn't a scorecard, but it shouldn't feel like a solo game either. If you're always the one making plans, reaching out, or bending to keep the peace, it's time to ask yourself if you're in a partnership or an emotional tug-of-war. What does a one-sided relationship look like? It can be subtle at first. Maybe you're always the one texting first, thinking it's just how they are, or you're the one planning dates and making sacrifices while receiving little in return. Over time, these small sacrifices add up, and it begins to feel like you're pouring your heart into something that barely echoes back. Imagine spending hours planning a special date to make them happy, only to receive no gratitude or acknowledgement. Instead of feeling appreciated, you're left questioning if you're asking for too much or if you're just not enough. That's a wound love should never leave behind. The truth is, relationships thrive on mutual investment. It's not about counting who did what, it's about showing up for each other in ways that make you feel seen, valued, and cherished. When the balance is off, and one person is always giving while the other is comfortably taking, it becomes less of a relationship and more of a slow drain on your energy, confidence, and peace. Stoicism offers a valuable lesson here. Epictetus famously taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. If your relationship feels one-sided, reflect on whether you're trying to control what's outside your power. Are you chasing affection or validation that should come naturally in a healthy partnership? If feeling valued feels exhausting, it might be time to pause and ask yourself what you're really holding on to. ***. Common scenarios ***. Have you noticed you're always the one apologizing, even when you weren't at fault? Or maybe you're the one compromising on your dreams and boundaries to keep the relationship alive. These patterns don't happen overnight, they start small. Perhaps they cancel plans last minute and you shrug it off, or they avoid hard conversations and you decide to let it go. Over time, you convince yourself that being the understanding one is just your role in the relationship, but love doesn't work that way. Real love inspires growth on both sides. If you're the only one showing up, adjusting, or putting in the work, it's not love, it's emotional labor. Addressing a one-sided relationship To address a one-sided relationship, start with honesty, first with yourself, then with your partner. Ask yourself the tough questions, and if the answers make you uncomfortable, don't ignore them. One of the most powerful tools in navigating this imbalance is pattern recognition. Pay attention to recurring dynamics. Are you always the one initiating communication or making sacrifices? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward breaking them. Next, initiate an open and honest conversation with your partner. Avoid accusations and focus on how you feel. The goal isn't to point fingers or keep score, it's to build awareness and create space for change. A healthy relationship isn't about one person being perfect, it's about two people willing to grow together. If you've voiced your feelings, set boundaries, and still see no change, it's time to make a choice. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control. Here's the reality: you can't control how someone shows up in a relationship. You can't force them to value you, reciprocate your efforts, or change their behavior. What you can control is how you respond. This might mean stepping back, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. It might mean prioritizing your emotional well-being over the fear of being alone. Because at the end of the day, being in a one-sided relationship is far lonelier than being single. Always remember, love should feel like a two-way street, not a one-sided marathon. If you're the only one showing up, it's time to ask yourself why. Are you holding on to the potential of what could be, or are you honoring the reality of what is? A relationship that leaves you drained isn't love, and sometimes the greatest act of love is letting go of what's not meant for you. Authenticity in relationships. You can't be your authentic self if you have to shrink to fit into someone else's world. Are you truly in a relationship, or just playing a role? This might be one of the hardest truths to face. At first, it's easy to convince yourself that it's normal. You might start by biting your tongue on small things, thinking it's compromise. But over time, the little ways you hold back become walls, and suddenly, you're not even sure who you are anymore. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who has a passion you don't share. You pretend to enjoy it, laughing at jokes you don't find funny, agreeing with opinions you don't hold, or forcing yourself to blend in with their friends, even though you feel like an outsider. The personal things you once loved about yourself slowly disappear because you fear they'd be too much for this person to handle. This dynamic can creep into vulnerable moments too. You might hesitate to share how you're really feeling, whether it's stress at work, excitement about a goal, or doubts about the relationship, because you're unsure how they'll react. You end up censoring yourself, choosing your words carefully, and second-guessing your feelings. In the process, you lose the comfort and ease that should come naturally with someone who truly sees you. A relationship should feel like sunlight for a garden, helping you grow, not suffocating your roots. Think about a healthy garden. Every plant has its own space to flourish. Some are bright and showy, while others are quiet and understated, but together they create something vibrant and alive. Now imagine trying to force every plant into the same shape or trimming the ones that grow too tall. The garden wouldn't thrive, it would wither. The same is true for relationships. This is where Stoicism offers clarity. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Replace good man with true self, and you have a reminder that authenticity isn't negotiable. Pretending to be someone you're not costs you your peace and disconnects you from your true purpose." A Stoic approach calls us to live in alignment with our nature, not someone else's expectations. Ask yourself, when was the last time I felt fully at ease with my partner? Am I hiding parts of myself to avoid conflict or rejection? Do I feel seen and valued for who I truly am, or only for the version of me that fits their preferences? These aren't easy questions, but they're necessary. When you sacrifice your authenticity, you're not building a real connection, you're building an illusion, and illusions crumble under the weight of real life. Rediscovering your authentic self starts with small but meaningful steps. Reconnect with the things that make you feel alive, even if they don't align with your partner's interests. Maybe it's a hobby you stopped pursuing, a type of music you love, or simply expressing your thoughts on something you care about. These moments of self-expression remind you of who you are beneath the mask. Next, bring that authenticity back into the relationship. This doesn't have to be confrontational. It's about inviting your partner into your world. Share a story about why you love something, express an opinion you've been holding back, or let them see a vulnerable side of you. If their reaction shows acceptance, that's a good sign. It means the relationship has the potential to grow into something stronger, where both people can be their full selves. But if they resist or reject your authenticity, it's worth asking, am I building a future with someone who doesn't truly see me? Remember, the right relationship isn't about blending into someone else's life. It's about creating a shared space where both people can thrive as individuals while growing together. You shouldn't have to dim your light to make someone else comfortable. The person who's truly meant for you will celebrate your brightness, even if it's different from their own. If you've been wearing a mask out of fear, habit, or love, know this: it's never too late to take it off. The right person won't ask you to shrink yourself, they'll make you feel safe enough to grow. The moment you choose to live authentically, you open the door to a love that's real, rooted, and unapologetically true. Staying out of fear. Fear has a way of rooting us in places we don't belong. It whispers, what if this is the best you'll ever have? Or what if you're alone forever? So, we stay. We cling to a relationship that doesn't bring joy, fulfillment, or growth, not because it's what we truly want, but because we're too afraid to let go. Let's be honest. The thought of starting over is terrifying. Walking away from years of shared memories, routines, and plans feels overwhelming. Maybe you've invested so much time and effort that leaving feels like failure. Or perhaps it's the fear of the unknown, the quiet dread of being alone with your thoughts at night, that keeps you holding on. Society doesn't make it easier, does it? We're constantly told that being in a relationship, any relationship, is better than being single. But is it? It's okay to admit that leaving feels hard. That's human. We all crave certainty, even when that certainty comes at the expense of our well-being. But you need to understand that certainty isn't the same as happiness. Being with someone out of fear doesn't create stability, it creates a cage. You deserve more than that. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Let that sink in. Are you truly living your truth in this relationship, or merely surviving? If fear is the only thing keeping you tethered, you're not choosing love, you're avoiding loss. There's a significant difference between the two. Fear doesn't create connection, it doesn't spark joy or foster intimacy. It creates a cycle of inertia where you stay stuck because the alternative feels too uncertain. You might fear the judgment of others, family, friends, or society if you walk away. Or perhaps you've convinced yourself that no one else will ever love you the way this person does, even if their love is lukewarm or conditional. But the truth is, fear is a liar. It exaggerates your doubts and minimizes your worth. It tricks you into believing that the unknown is worse than a life spent settling. The longer you stay in that space, the harder it becomes to see your potential. Moving past fear. So, how do you move past this? How do you overcome the fear of leaving and step into a life where you can thrive? Start by building a foundation of support. Talk to trusted friends, family, or even a therapist about what you're feeling. Sometimes, just voicing your fears can help you see them for what they are, temporary obstacles, not permanent truths. Next, focus on personal growth. When you're stuck in fear, it's easy to lose sight of your strengths and capabilities. Rediscover them. Take up a hobby, learn a new skill, or pursue a goal that's entirely your own. These small victories remind you that you're capable of creating a fulfilling life, even outside the context of a relationship. Relationships are some of the most beautiful, complex, and challenging aspects of life. They teach us about love, connection, and, more importantly, about ourselves. Over the past few signs, we've explored what it feels like when a relationship might not be the right fit. While this journey may not have been easy, recognizing these signs is the first step toward something better. So, let me ask you, where do you see yourself in this video? Are you walking on eggshells, hiding your true self, or holding on out of fear? Or maybe you're just starting to notice cracks in the foundation. Whatever it is, take a moment to reflect. Grab a journal and ask yourself the hard questions. Am I happy? Do I feel seen and valued? Is this relationship helping me grow, or is it holding me back? The answers you're looking for are already within you. All it takes is the courage to ask the right questions. If this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who might need to hear these words. And if you're still unsure or have questions, drop them in the comments. I'll be reading and responding. You don't have to navigate this alone. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take care of your heart, trust your instincts, and most importantly, believe in your worth. You are worthy of love, joy, and a life that feels fully and beautifully your own. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos on this channel to keep learning and empowering yourself. See you in the next one.